I'm so glad you could make it. Sit down, sit down. Oh, yeah. Oh, the band is gonna be awesome tonight. I dig it.
Hey, welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey.
I'm so glad you could make it.
I am a business owner. Yes, I'm a boss, but I still have an attitude of servitude because if we if we don't work together, it doesn't get done. So there is no, I'm this and I come on here and this is what I do in my personal life, or this is what I do, or this is what I've done. No, we're here to work together, and we should all be building, lifting, and giving each other opportunities. And that's how we all thrive.
Hey, welcome back to Therapy Sessions. That's THAIRAPY Sessions. I'm your host, Auntie Hair Coach, and I interview regular people telling real stories about their beauty industry journey. We're officially in our third season, and today's guest is an entrepreneur, salon owner, and set stylist with credits including Disney, Marvel, Peacock, Hulu, FX, and more. So Kay Cantrell has entered the chat. Welcome, Kay.
Hello.
Hola,
Thanks for having
hola.
me.
Thank you for being here. It's been so long since I saw you, so it's good to see your face again. Okay,
Yes,
so
same
before we get
here.
started, my
hmm
listeners always want to know who they're dealing with. So just
Okay.
share with us a bit about who is Kay Cantrell.
So, well, I'll tell you a bit about, I guess, my titles and things that I do. I'm a wife, a mom, first and foremost. I am a business owner. I am also a hairstylist, makeup artist, and consultant. Well, I'm no longer a makeup artist. I started my career in makeup, but I'm no longer doing makeup, more
Okay,
so hair when it comes to that type of the skill set.
behind the chair workers. Let's do
Behind
it.
the chair, yes.
I got you.
Behind the chair, yes.
I got you. Did you always want to do hair, or did you start out wanting to be a makeup artist? Tell me about.
So, so I always wanted to run a business, a corporation. Like my sisters and I, we would pretend like we were running a corporation at our grandmother's house, and she had the rotary phone. So one of my sisters were like the secretary, and
Good.
the other, she was typing, and then I was standing in front of the room with my pad, and like I'm talking and presenting. So
Yes.
I always knew I would be a business owner. I always knew that I would either rather be running a corporation or owning or both. So that was always something I wanted to do. And then as I got older, it was three things that I wanted. I wanted a hair salon, a cafe, and a boutique. And
Okay.
those are the three things that like I always set out to do. And I had my drawings and all those good things of what it would look like and what it would feel like. So
Yes.
to actually had open what I drew and what
Yeah.
I saw,
You
you know,
manifested it.
I did.
Yes. Yes. So when did
hmm
you decide to go to cosmetology school?
So I obtained my marketing degree and decided I would go back to school.
Where's your
Um,
degree from?
I'm sorry, I did hair when I was in high school,
Okay.
but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm going to make this a career. Like I want to make this a career, but so that wasn't my first initial thing. I got accepted to Georgia Southern, SCAD. I was at a cross of if I wanted to go to design school for fashion design and photography, or if I wanted to take up business. But going to school to be a hairstylist just wasn't like at the forefront.
I,
Even when I went and talked to my advisor, because I always wanted to own a salon, she said, you don't have to have a license to own a salon. And I was
that's
like,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I almost got talked out of it.
Uh-huh.
almost got, because I had a girlfriend, she said, if you didn't go to school right after high school to be a hairstylist, it doesn't make any sense to go now. And then my advisor was like, well, you don't need a license to run a salon. And it's like, okay, yeah, I may not need a license, but if I have a salon, I would like to have the credentials to lead the people in my salon. So,
Absolutely.
and I actually like, I grew up with my mom, and, everyone around me did hair in some way, shape, or form. So beauty was always something that was in our family, and it was around us all the time, whether it was through remedies of things in the pantry, or if it was braiding hair or whatever. We always had beauty around us, so it wasn't a far-fetched thing for us to like for me to go to school for it, especially with me wanting to own a salon.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's funny because I always say that I would never work for someone who wasn't a hairstylist simply
Hmm.
because, and I mean, I'm at the stage now where I feel like I would never work for someone unless it was on my
Hmm.
terms. But like you
Hmm.
said, you want to work with someone who knows the life, right? And if you
Right.
never stood behind the chair, you have no idea. Um, okay, so you almost got talked out of it, but you didn't. You went to school. So what was the thing
Yes.
that made you decide, I'm going to go to cosmetology school?
Um, because I always wanted to own a salon.
Okay,
So being that I wanted to own a salon, that was my thing. I'm not
okay,
going to lead without actually getting my life. And then I was doing it without, I would
yeah,
plan my hair, my sister's hair, I would do my friend's hair, whether, braid hair. So it was something that I did, but it wasn't something that I looked at as a career choice.
I
Even
got
when I went to school, it still wasn't, this is a career choice. It
you.
was, I'm getting my license to get the credentials. And then as I was in school and I would see clients, or, see clients while we were in school, I would always get called to assist with challenges. Like if someone came in with breakage, or if someone came in with their weave needed to be like, their extensions were a mess.
Uh-huh,
Like,
uh-huh,
so it
uh-huh,
would be like, hey, Kay, like, and even my instructor would send them over to
yeah,
me. Or if she tried and I would be standing looking at her, she'll ask, well, do you want to,
hmm,
do this? So I like challenges. I'm a problem
hmm.
solver. So for me, not to say that I like challenges, I better universe. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Be careful
Take
how
that
you speak now.
back.
Yes,
Yeah, take that back. No, no, no,
yeah,
no. So no, I'm a problem solver. I am. So if I see something, I always think about how can it be better, or if there is something that needs to be tweaked to it, then I do enjoy solving the problem. So, and knowing that those are some of the things that I kind of, as I was in school, like, okay, I really love like doing this. And then thinking that I was going to a creative university, all of those things intertwine. So, if I'm working a fashion show, if I'm the designer, if I'm drawing my designs, I'm drawing everything from the head to the feet. So I'm drawing the hairstyle. I was already doing that. So when it came to the creative side and the scientific side of hair, those were the things that really, when I was in school, it really made me like become even more passionate about it. Like, why does hair do what it does? What products make hair do this or that? So the science behind it, and then learning that I can also be creative. And then also at the end of my courses, learning there's a business side to this as well. There's a time management side to this. Like all of the things that I love to do, making people feel good, like all of those things are intertwined with being a master cosmetologist, even marketing. So all of the things, like the business aspect, the marketing, the creativity, the design piece of it, I tapped into all of those aspects of it, and it was just, that's what drives me. That's what keeps me going still to this day. That's
Yeah,
what keeps me going.
I love this. I love that
Mhm.
answer. Okay, so I actually came up with a couple of questions while you were sharing
Mhm.
that. So the first
Mhm.
question is, 'cause you had been doing hair before you got to cosmetology. So talk
Mhm.
about like when you get to cosmetology school, is it easy? What challenges did you have while you were in cosmetology school?
So technical challenges or just overall?
Just
Like,
challenges.
okay.
Yeah.
So, in cosmetology school, I would say the challenge for me, because I was already a mom,
Mm,
um, I was already pretty much in a career field, in the corporate world. So when I went into cosmetology, I had to go to school at night. I had to go to school in the evening. So for me, it was trying to manage my time, trying to uh, be there for everyone, and as well as pursue this thing that I knew was in me, and that was a part of the vision, and it was a part of the journey, and having those conversations with my family, and making sure that I had their blessings so that I could pursue those things, and I could pursue those things with them knowing that this is going to take me away from you, um, for some time until, we complete this journey of education. And in doing that, I also, during my journey there, I was expecting. So I was taking care of myself, but um, because of my immune system, with being a mom, expecting mother, I got really sick, very sick. I was in ICU for like a week, and then a step down unit for like another week.
wow.
And even then, I was working. I didn't realize I was sick. I didn't realize how sick I was. I was just working. Like, I was working. I was still going to school. I was pushing myself even to attend events and be there for my family and friends. And there was one event that I traveled to with my family, and I just couldn't. Like, I couldn't, my energy was just so low. And of course, I'm expecting. So you're thinking, oh, it's just fatigue. But this was really different. Um, and so I went to the doctor's office, or called my doctor's office, and my doctor office closed early that day. It was a Friday. And the receptionist was like, uh, we won't be able to see you until Monday. And I had been to the ER the night before, and they sent me home. They didn't know what was wrong with me, but they did some tests. And so my doctor called me after they closed, and she said, hey, I need you to have someone drive you to the hospital right now. You're going to need to be admitted. And so I'm just still so super fatigued, just thinking I'm tired. And I get to the hospital still like, okay, in good spirits, and my sister is there with me. And after a while, they asked my sister to like suit up. And this is before, COVID and all, mask and everything, but she had to suit up from head to toe because they thought I had meningitis. And it just went from them not knowing to me being in incubation, and no one could see me. Like, I couldn't have family, friends, no one could see me, could come visit me. So I was pretty much alone, while they tried to figure out what was wrong.
So
And
they
my
didn't even know
body
what was.
didn't know. So my body was actually shutting down. I'm sitting in ICU while they're trying to put a pick stick through my neck, put a tube through my neck. And I remember the nurse saying, you're so serene. Like, how are you so calm? And I'm like, I don't really know what else to be right now. But I really didn't know how sick I was. I still, at that time, I didn't know. I just knew they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And as I'm lying there, I hear my vitals, like the beats are getting slower and slower and slower. And then the nurses come rushing in. And so what was happening was my organs was shutting down. And yeah, and I was definitely, all I could think about is no one's here with me. Someone's going to call my family and tell them I didn't make it.
Wow.
And that's just not what I would want for my mom or anyone. Like I wouldn't want it for my children, myself, anyone, but I'm still thinking about everyone else. I'm thinking about my mom. I'm like, I wouldn't want her to get that call. You know, no one can see me, no one can visit me. I'm here by myself. Um, and so I was pretty much revived and, you know, nurtured back to health. But after being discharged, I had a home nurse. So I was just that sick. And even in the midst of that, during my doctor's appointments, I asked, because I had a pick stick, not a pick stick, but it was a needle in my arm that had tubes because I had to still get medication through IV.
Mhm.
And so I asked my doctor if I could just put a blazer on and go to work. Craziness.
Like, not only am I going to
Just
work,
go
but
to
I would be
work.
cute while I'm there.
Like I was like, can I just put on a blazer and like cover this up and go to work? And it's just
Wow.
like that was just my dedication and passion for what, you know, for what I'm doing, you know, what I was doing.
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, I don't think you know how sick you really were. I don't think you realize." And I didn't realize it until I Googled it. And then I was like, oh, I was really sick. I was about to check out of here. Like
Yeah.
I was really sick. So definitely put me on a path of being more adamant about taking care of myself, you know, putting the time aside. Like it's not if I have time, it is I have to make time for self-care because I have to be okay. You know, a lot of times us as stylists, as in the beauty industry, as moms, just as, you know, caring people, will put everyone before us. And it's like continuously before us. And then we joke about as a hairstylist, yeah, we don't sleep, we don't eat, we don't drink, we get behind the chair, we don't take a break. And you know, we say it jokingly, and it really, like, I was really doing that. And, you know, even through all of that, sometimes I still have to tap myself and say, hey, like, remember when, like, you really have to remember to take care of yourself because when you are passionate about your industry and what you're doing, your drive is different.
Mm.
So it can get pretty robotic. Like, how are you going on through your day without drinking
Yes.
every hour or every, you know, how are you going about your day without going to the restroom like you should, or without eating or without taking a break because you're in the hustle of it, you know? So I had to learn, like, this is a business. And while it's a business, I have to have a business mind about it. And you can't hustle forever. So you have to come out of I gotta hustle, hustle, hustle and get into, okay, this is my business and this is how I have to operate. No, I cannot see a client at 4:30 or 5:30 if I'm scheduled, or in my mind my schedule is I have to be out by 6:30 or 7. No, I cannot see a client if he or she arrives 15, 20, 30 minutes late, whether I have someone after them or not. Your time is your time, and once you miss that time, then we have to reschedule you for another time. No, I cannot, you know, have my employees, you know, give me all these excuses, and, you know, my team members, like, no. So all of those things I had to learn along the way. And when you are a giver, because most hairstylists are, like, you have to care about people to be in this industry. And a lot of times people know that, they take advantage of that, and you have to set those boundaries. So, yes,
Amen.
no one should have to have a health scare to set boundaries, but take it from me. Set your boundaries. People may not like it, but they will adjust. They
Word.
will.
Not going to the restroom for 8 hours is not a
Oh my
flex,
God.
okay?
It's not a flex.
Not a
It's
flex.
not.
So I know that you're currently a salon owner, but you're not working
Mhm.
behind the chair anymore, correct? Or at least not in the salon.
Not consistently. No, I transitioned to film,
Okay.
but I do still have clients I see every now and again.
Okay.
They kind of have, if I'm in town, then, which is hard for me because that's my entire philosophy is it's a it's a treatment plan. It's the way I take
Mhm.
care of your hair on a weekly, bi-weekly
Mhm.
basis. So for me, I I am one, if I commit to something, that is what I'm what I'm going to do. And it's
Mhm.
really hard to have a clientele and be in film as a hairstylist because your schedule fluctuates and you're away. You can be, on location, out of town, out of the city, out of the state.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't I wouldn't want to commit to a client because I know I wouldn't be able to see you through the journey and the process as I would normally. But I do have a few that have been with me and they understand and they're okay with
So
me
like I don't
coming in.
care.
They're like, I'm okay with you coming in every now and again, even if I
Yeah.
don't see you but twice a year. So
Yes.
so I do every now and then, but it's not something that I do consistently just because for me and how, I operate, I don't want to commit to something. I can't say yes to something I can't fully commit to.
Sure.
And the way we do it it's
Yeah.
a way.
Yes. Understood. Tell me about
Mhm.
your transition then from behind the chair into the film
Mhm.
industry. Did you always want to do, like, did you know when I get this license I want to do film, or did that come later? And then what was that transition like?
No, before I received my license, I knew that I wanted to do that. I just didn't know. I didn't think when I went to get my license, that part wasn't in my mind because I didn't know whether I needed a license or not to do hair and film. I knew when I looked at films and I would stay and watch the credits that my name would be somewhere on those credits. So I
Mhm.
didn't know how. I kind of like apprehensive about the film industry because of my me being a mother and a wife, a partner, and having a family. And I always thought, if I did decide to commit to film, it would take me away from them. I would have to travel. I wouldn't be, I thought about it like the actors, they're on set and, they're away from their families and listening to their stories. I was just like, as much as I would like to work on major films, it just doesn't seem like something I would be able to with my family. So that was something that I just kind of like it was there, but it was like, over there, way
Mhm.
over there.
Mhm.
So once I really set my mind to it and I had the conversation with my family, and my husband said, well, it's like Will and Jada. They're away from each other all the time. And I'm like, okay. Like we don't know their
First of
business.
all, I feel like he could have picked a different couple, and I love Will and Jada.
We don't know their business, but he would what he was saying was, as actors, because they're both actors, actor
Sure.
and actress. So because of their schedules, they're able to raise a family, they're able to do those things, and that was in the midst of, Jada being a little more them being a little more transparent and vocal about their lifestyle and how they
Mhm.
manage their family. So it was relative at that time.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, it's totally different. It sounds good.
Mhm.
It sounds good. It sounds like, yeah, we can do it. But once you get in it, it definitely has its challenges.
Yes. And
Yes. Mhm.
I want to hear about those challenges.
Mhm.
I want to hear, like,
Mhm.
what does a typical work assignment look like? I mean, I guess I
Well,
assume there's no typical, but take
right.
us on a
That's the
tour.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
So it just depends. It depends. Like if it's basically it's more of a network industry for sure.
Okay.
You can see jobs. They have positions available, and most of the time those are positions that are head of department or leadership. So when you're coming in as a background, you're coming in as a day player, you're coming in if you're invited, you're coming in and you're coming in to do the work.
Mhm.
Um, Before I got into it, I took classes. Because doing hair behind the chair and doing hair in film be totally different. The products are different. The way things are done is totally different. And so I wanted to prepare myself before I went into it. So years before I even put myself out there to transition into that, I started taking classes. And I traveled. I traveled to take classes where I lived and where I was from at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of resources and opportunities. So I went and I took classes way on the West Coast, on the other side of the country, or wherever I knew or saw people that were actually doing what I wanted to do. They they had quality classes. So I took those classes. I took those classes and then was invited right during, I believe we were still in the pandemic, to work on a major film. And prior to that, I had been just doing small things. So short films, independent films, things like that. I worked in way back in 2006 and 7, but it was no comparison to working on a major film, but it was definitely preparation to working on a major film. So all of those things um, that I participated in, and I would say to any hairstylist that's looking to get into film or anything like that, that you try different things, try commercials, try, you know, if someone local is doing a photo shoot or a video shoot or anything like that, try those things. And then as you try those things will help you prepare for the next thing. So that's what I did. That was my journey. I did smaller things. I didn't look at them as small or big. It just whatever I committed myself to, I showed up as if it was a big thing. And I continued in preparing myself. So when the time and the opportunity came, I was ready for it. So those were some of the things that I did to prepare years before I really got into doing my first, major film. And even then, there's still so much, to learn and so much that you have to know when going into it. So I took classes. I took classes with people who were where I wanted to be or higher.
Yes.
So I took classes with department heads, and I didn't just stay in my city because in my city there wasn't a whole lot of resources and classes being offered. So I had to travel across the country, and I'd have friends who traveled across the world. So it just depends on what that person's resume is and what they've offered the industry, and you make a decision of whether or not you want to go and invest in yourself and learn from them. And that's what I did. So, and still do, because we're all still learning. There's always something we can always teach one another. So those are some of the things that helped me transition into it.
Okay.
Um, and then I was like, okay, I know for me, I will have to move. Like if I really want to do this, I'm going to have to move. And that was for me. That was my journey. It was for me. And so that's what I did. I took that leap. I packed up my family. I made a decision that I'll go back and forth and I'll have a schedule of how I'll operate my businesses as well as make the move. And then I'll start, doing little things in the new city to get myself in the door. And as I got myself in the door, which I would make, my peers laugh and say, "Hey, if you need if you need me to come and count hairpins, I am there."
Period.
I am there.
Period.
And that is
Absolutely.
it. And that's what, and I will count those hairpins diligently, and I will
Yes.
dedicate my time, and I will show up when you need me to, and I will
Yes.
be the last one to leave. And
Be
that
the
is
best
just,
hairpin counter you ever saw.
yes, anything you need me to do,
Yes.
I am there. And that
Yeah.
is, and that is, yes, I am a business owner. Yes, I'm a boss, but I still have an attitude of servitude, because if we all work together, if we don't work together, it doesn't get done. So there is no, I'm this, and I come on here, and I'm, this is what I do in my personal life, or this is what I do, or this is what I've done. No, we're here to work together, and we should all be building, lifting, and giving each other opportunities. And that's how we all thrive. So that was always my mindset. That's how I transitioned into it. Um, and I am loving every minute of it, besides the strike right now, but I get it. I
That's
get
a
it.
great segue
Um,
because I have a
yeah.
question about the
Mhm.
strike.
Mhm.
Um, so we know that there's a writer's strike as civilians. We know that there's a writer's strike happening right now.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
have a few questions about it. What are the stylists doing? Um, is unemployment a thing in the is that a part of that industry? And then like for real, we just want to understand exactly what's happening and why.
So there is not just a writer strike. There is a writer strike, and there's also an actors. The actors, there's also an actors strike.
Okay.
So, which is the writers went on strike first, and then now it's the actors. So it's all shut down. Um, for us as hairstylists in the industry and makeup artists, that means pretty much when it comes to any film, any major, minor film, we cannot, there's no production going on. So if there's no production going on, then many many of us are not working. Or we're having to find our way back behind the chair. And
Mm,
that's what's happening. So it's either you're finding your way back behind the chair, you have more than one iron in the basket, so you're leaning more towards on that. Unemployment has been offered, especially to those. I'm not sure if everyone is being offered that, but I do know as for union workers and people who were on productions during the time, if they were out of work because of that, then they are eligible. I am not, you know, this is a nationwide thing, so I don't know state by state what everyone is doing.
okay.
Um, but from what I'm hearing in our network is we're still, making sure we're checking up on each other, making sure everyone's mentally sound, because this is rough. Like, we're still technically in a pandemic. We're still just coming out of that. So to be laid off for months, it's rough. It's hard. It's hard for a lot of people, especially with families. And it's not just you're not working, it's the benefits that come with that. Like having your health insurance. So what they're fighting for, what the writers and actors are fighting for, we stand with them. Like it's not that, oh my God, we can't work. And it's just like, no, it hurts. Like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard that you're not working,
Yeah.
but we understand their fight. Like we understand. And if you don't do it now, it may be too late later. It will be too late later, because the
Absolutely.
way things are being set up with AI, the way things are going, where digital media and people are being computerized and digitized and can possibly be replaced, like you have to fight. And I will say there will be a time more than likely that the hairstylists and makeup artists are going to again have to fight for some of those same rights. We're very early on into it now, but I mean, with artificial intelligence, we see on the internet, we see on social media, they're changing makeup, hair, all of those things. You can do it with your own face. So if
Hmm.
it becomes that, which I hope it never does, and as consumers, you consumers also have a major, they have power too, because
Hmm.
you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Tell them you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
So all of us as a community, we have to, it's no one of, it's all of our fight, because you're also, I know you don't watch TV like that, but the shows exist and the films exist because people are watching.
Absolutely.
So if your favorite show is a part of your life, and that season, when that season comes up, that's something you look forward to. That's not happening
Right.
because of, these things. So I think all of us as people, as humanity, period, this may not seem important, but it is to everyone, because there's so many people's livelihood that's at stake right now. So definitely some of the things I've seen is people going back into the chair,
Okay.
and going back into the salon,
Okay.
and or going into theater, or going into, because you can do some commercials, you can do some things like that. So trying to find your way, or find our way into still being able to live and survive is what's happening.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what's happening, and you have to be optimistic about it, but the reality of it is it's rough, and it was already rough
Hmm.
prior to the strike.
Yeah.
So, it's the tip of the iceberg at this point. So hopefully some things will really like happen,
Yeah.
so
Do you guys
people can get back to work.
yeah. Do you expect for there to be an end soon? Or are we still um is there any word on that?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
There's been no, I have no idea. Talk is talk, and until someone says we're hiring, that's when I'll know. That's when I'll know.
Yeah,
But other than that, projecting is a projection, and I definitely will not want to be on record projecting.
absolutely.
And that's what anyone will be doing, is
Yeah.
projecting, because
Yeah,
until all parties come together, we don't really know.
I
So
got you.
hopefully sooner than later.
I got you. We
Hmm.
will be praying for a return to work, because we do not need
Yes.
our sisters and brothers, the community out here unemployed. I remember during the
No.
pandemic, I had friends that were working in California. Well, were not working in California because California was closed for like
Hmm.
8 months or something during the pandemic. And I
Hmm.
just,
Hmm.
it really made me think about preparing for something like that. The pandemic taught me, if it taught me nothing else, it taught me that I need to be prepared for something like that.
Yep. Yep. My first layoff was 20 years ago,
Wow.
over 20 years ago. And that was what helped me with my finances. Like, I had to realize, whoa, okay, you cannot you cannot even live with like an extra month of living expenses. Like, you have to have, at that time, it was like 3 months was
Hmm.
what goes to, now it's like 6 months. And I'm like, listen, if you can do a year, just do a year. If you can, I mean, you would need to do a year. Just go ahead and set your budget to do it, because
Yeah.
you never know.
No.
You never know, especially in the industry that we're in. And if the pandemic hasn't taught us, like, we have to get better with our money management and finances, and really putting things aside and putting things where they need to be. Like, I don't know how many other, yeah, I don't know how many other like signs we need,
Yeah.
but And then we
Yeah.
understand it's hard to, because you're getting paid every day, but you have to look at it like X amount of percent of everything that I make every day, I have to put this aside and just let that be the
Hmm.
thing in your mind so that you're able to do that. And then I played a game with myself. I was like, okay, let me put this over here and I just want to see it get to this. And
Hmm.
then once I did that, I did an account and I was like, let me see
Hmm.
it get to this. So whatever you have to do to kind of get
Yeah.
yourself in that mindset of saving and
Yeah.
putting aside, because a rainy day is going to happen.
Hmm.
That's not a,
It's not
that's
if,
not,
it's when. Yeah.
that's not if it's just going to rain.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yes. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit, and because I'm really curious about your thoughts. We're all putting so much content onto the internet right now. Like it's like the just content onto the internet. I'm curious about your thoughts when it comes to branding and protecting your brand.
You should protect your brand. I know a lot of times we don't think about it. Like we don't think about, oh, I have a name or I've been using this name or, things like that. We don't think about it until either we do or someone makes us think about it. And so I am a strong believer because of not just my experience, but protecting your intellectual property. So if that's trademarking, copywriting, patenting, whatever it is to make sure that what you invent, what you come up with, your ideas are protected. Um, and it's just something that's been going on for centuries in our community, especially. We have these great, ideas, combs and blow dryers and flat, all these different ideas and inventions that you come up with just out of something that you didn't have, and you something you may have created in the salon and you've been using. Like that's an invention.
Yeah.
That's an invention whether you look at it as that way or not. So
Hmm.
I would say get you an attorney, someone that understands
Hmm.
patenting, trademark, copywriting. Get someone in, and if you can find someone that's skilled in the beauty industry or inventions, then definitely get with that type of attorney. It
Hmm.
may take some research, it may take some, you getting some referrals, but do your due diligence in who you're finding and who you're hiring to do that business for you, because you should be protecting your ideas. And don't think of it as something small or little. Once you find that attorney, go through that situation and talk to them once they're retained, once they are actually your attorney now.
Say it
So
again.
let not forget that part.
Uh-huh.
Once you've actually hired them as your
Hmm.
attorney, because then it's, attorney-client privilege.
Hmm.
But just in your consultation, you can be very, very vague without actually spelling out what you're doing.
Hmm.
And then based on your consultation, then you go into whether or not you want to hire this person, but still do your due diligence with your hiring process. It's your baby. It's like finding a nanny. If whether you have children or not, just think about, hey, if I wanted to bring someone in my home or to keep my child, what are the measures or what are the things that I would do to, before I hired this person. So kind of look at it like that, like you're
Hmm.
hiring them. So do your due diligence when you're doing that. And then research, read, look up. The trademark website has all types of articles of how you can go about hiring an attorney and all those different things. So researching the material is out there, and it's out there legally. So don't just Google and take it from anywhere. You check your sources before
Hmm.
you go making decisions. And then once
Hmm.
you do that and you're on the right way, it sounds like a lot of work. But just think about your protect it's something that you can pass down from generation to generation. It's something that you own, And even if one day you don't want to own it or someone wants to own it, then you can put a price on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be your retirement plan.
Hey. And it's like Grandma always said, you
So,
stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and I
That
would
just may
think that
very
it
well
would
be.
actually be less work and less expense
Hmm.
to do it on the front end than to
Yes,
wait, you know.
yes.
So great
Before you
advice.
publicize, yes. Before you, because there is a way that you can trademark and copyright before you actually go into commerce. So get with your attorney, do your research and see what options are best for you. And then go ahead, and it may take some time because the trademark, the government is pretty backed up because a lot of people are doing this now.
Yeah,
They're getting
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So it may take a little more time, but do your due diligence. Hire the professionals to help you along and get that done.
yes, yes. So, if you could change one thing about the beauty industry as a whole, what would
Hmm.
it be?
Hmm. I would change the way the public looks at beauty professionals. Um, I would change the way the beauty profession is looked at, as we say beauty professionals, but it's looked at kind of like a hobby, which a lot of creative professionals, um, arts, music, like it's not taken seriously at times. So
Mhm.
I think the way we're perceived to, to all, I would change the way we're perceived, like to be taken
Yeah,
seriously as professionals and as an actual career, not just a side hustle, because
absolutely.
this is our livelihood. Like,
I
this
say
is
that
not a
like
side
3 times
hustle.
a week.
This
Yes,
is
I
not a
say that
side hustle. This is
yes. I'm like, just because
this
you
is a
enjoy what we
profession.
do, absolutely.
Right.
And just
Right.
because you enjoy
Hmm.
what we do doesn't mean that we're not doing it to pay our bills. Like,
Right.
this is
Right.
how I pay my bills.
Yeah. Yeah. So a
Okay.
lot of very successful beauty professionals like that are making 6, 7 figures. So
Mhm,
to
mhm,
look at it as like not important, or
mhm.
oh, that's not a real job, or a real career,
Yeah,
or why would you go to beauty school, like it's just it, it's like, come on, take us seriously, okay?
yes,
This is a career. This is
yes,
can actually like make a living and
yes,
then some with this, okay? And we make people beautiful and have fun doing it.
yes,
So,
yes,
you know.
yes. I love it. What kind of things are you up to right now? What's exciting? What kind of exciting things are you doing right now?
So I'm like always have full of like ideas and things to do,
Mhm,
and trying to bundle all my talents together.
mhm,
So right now, I'm putting my marketing hat on more and doing more within that realm, helping other companies and individuals bring their beauty out, which is the name of my company, Bring Out My Beauty.
yeah,
So that is what I do. What I've been doing, and I've just now pretty much am bringing it out to the world. Like, this is what I do as well. So just kind of tapping into that publicly. I've done it for friends. I've done it for family, kind of behind the scenes. So now I'm venturing into it as, you know, as a career, as a thing to do. And it all still intertwines all of the things beauty
yeah,
that I love. So
yeah. That's exciting.
it's
What
beauty
is
and
it like
everything.
consulting? What is
Yes. So
okay.
consulting, marketing, we have an entire team. So we do marketing, uh, videography, putting together commercials, with in filming, editing, all of those things. So what I do, my job is to come in, do consulting, get to know the business and the brand, get to know your business, your brand, see what you're doing, see what you've been doing, what's been working, what hasn't been working, and come up with a marketing strategy and helping you brand your business and get your business and your brand and your face and all those things out there if you want your face out there, because some people like to be behind the scenes. And because I've been in that, I've been one of those people at times, I understand that. So I understand the client that they don't want to come into the forefront. So if that isn't something that you want to do, it's totally fine. So I'm definitely understanding both sides of the spectrum, of what it is. And because of my corporate background, I'm able to also market in a way or have their brand look as if they're doing business. And then we have to talk about you really doing business, because you can't look like you're doing business and you're not doing business.
Word.
So before we even get into making you look like you're doing business, we talk about how you're doing business currently, and then we go into helping you create those systems to help your business thrive and not just survive.
Love that. Love that. If my audience wants to catch up with you, how can they follow your movements?
So I'm really good about branding other companies, but I have not been the best with myself. And I'm just keeping it 1000 as usual. But yes, so my social media is at Naturally K Cantrell, and that's naturally NaturallyKayCantrell. And there you can kind of keep up with me. I have vowed to myself that I am going to post more and I'm going to share more, because I have definitely been a private person. I still am, but I do have so much that I want people to see, and I want people to see that you can do it too. Like, so my mission now is I want you to see it can be done, because I've been on the other side of that. I've been around people who feel like they can't. So I want people to see whatever obstacles that come your way, you can still overcome and it can still be done. So you can find me on IG, Instagram at Naturally K Cantrell. I'm on Facebook as K Cantrell. And if you like to book a consultation, you can book with me at kcantrell.net. Yes. And for my fellow hairstylists and makeup artists in film and theater and commercials too, in the midst of this strike, if you are in the Savannah area or would like to see clients in the Savannah area, I am opening my salon up to you with no charge for booth rent for that day or up to 3 days. Just send me a DM, send me a message so that I know that you're wanting to come in town or you want to schedule some time to see clients, because I know this is a heavy and hard time for us all. So there will be no charge for you. Just let me know when you want to come in town and if that is something you're interested in, and we will get the doors open for you.
I love that. I love that. I'm always a sucker for a community anything. All we got is us.
Oh, we have that. Listen, if you have to do it for yourself. I would want someone to do it for me, and that's how I look at things a lot of times. Like, if it were me, because you can say, yeah, my salon's open, it's a daily rate of this, it's a weekly rate of that, and that's great. But if I'm in a position where I just don't have that because I'm trying to build, then the only way I can do that is if someone gives me an opportunity. So
Yes. Love it.
it's a blessing to be a blessing for someone else.
Beautiful. I love
Let's
it.
work.
Hey, you're just so talented. I love talking to you. Your passion, like, literally just flows out of your pores. I appreciate your transparency with my audience today, and thank you so much for stopping by and sharing with us. That's
Thanks
it.
for having me. Thank you all.
Thanks so much for listening. If you're a beauty pro with a story to tell, or you have a stylist you'd like to hear from, you can DM me via IG at Auntie Hair Coach, or use the Contact Me form on tasha-davis.com. Or if you're feeling really spicy, send an audio message in Spotify. Whether you loved it or hated it, please leave a rating, like, and or follow, because it does something fancy with the algorithm. I'm Auntie Hair Coach. Ta-ta for now.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you could make it.